Mr. Humphreys, are you free?
I'm free.
Forward, please.
Mind the doors.
Are you being served, sir? I'm Humphreys, and I'm free. Are you being served, sir? What would you like to see? If you'd like some swimming trunks, we've got them plain or spotty. We've also got some see-through that really tan your...
Beachwear.
Oh, these are gay. There's plenty round the back. And if you'd like a bit of flash, then try a plastic Mac.
Are you being served, sir?
I'm Humphreys, and I'm free.
Are you being served, sir?
What would you like to see?
That man's been hanging around our underwear counter for about 10 minutes.
Oh, dear. Do you think he's one of those?
One of what?
A bon voyeur. They're the ones that look and don't touch.
Never been out with one of those.
Are you being served, sir?
No, do you have a male assistant on this counter?
No, sir. This is ladies' underwear.
I see. I thought you might have a man to help you.
No, sir. There is very little demand for that sort of thing at Bone Brothers.
Well, I wish to purchase a bra.
What size are you?
That will do, Miss Nichols.
It's for my fiancée. She's a young girl.
Congratulations. Have you any idea what size she takes? Go and polish something, Miss Nichols.
I managed to knock off one of these when she wasn't looking.
Oh. She's a very healthy young lady, isn't she? Get out the 40s, Miss Nichols. The Mount Kosciuszko range.
Mr. Humphreys, a customer for you.
Good afternoon, sir. Can I help you?
I want a good, stout, hard-wearing, long-lasting Harris tweed.
Let me see. A good, stout, long-lasting, hard-wearing Harris tweed.
Aye.
Something in a jacket, sir?
No, something in the trews.
Trews.
Trews. Breeks.
Breeks. Harris tweed briefs. Breeks. That's trousers, Mr. Randall.
What waist are you, sir?
36, but I find a 42 a wee bit more comfortable.
And the inside leg?
The inside leg, oh, well, you'll have to measure that.
Beg your pardon, sir.
Well, I've never worn the breeks before. You see, I've only ever worn the kilt.
Yeah. Excuse me a minute. Mr. Mankiewicz, could I borrow your tape measure, please? I've got to take this man's inside leg.
I think I'd rather you borrowed Mr. Randall's.
Do me a favour, will you? Measure his inside leg. I've given it up for Lent.
I am not putting my hand up there.
Well, lend me a tape, then.
Don't lose it.
I won't.
What are you doing now?
I'm warming the end. No, sir. Do you wear the sporran on the right or the left?
Just get on with it, man. Get on with it.
Yeah. Healthy, it's got a cold nose.
Hey! Where do you think you're going with that thing?
I was measuring her inside leg.
In Scotland, young laddie, when we measure the inside leg, we measure it from the outside. Like that. See?
Thank heaven for that. Yes, well, I make that 32, including Fido.
Do you think it suits me?
Oh, it does. And the red artificial cherries are very youth-making. Don't you agree, Miss Nichols?
Oh, yes. Takes years off her.
And the brown goes so very well with Madam's eyes.
I have blue eyes.
That's what I mean. It's the shade of brown that goes so well with blue. It gives you a sort of Marlene Dietrich look.
She's in her 70s.
But she wasn't when she was in her 40s.
Anyway, do you think it's better with the brim up or down?
Oh, down.
I need one that's cut a bit lower here.
Would you mind remaining in the fitting room, madam? We share our accommodation with gents' ready-mades, and they've got eyes like hawks.
I can't wait in there hours while you come and serve me.
Any trouble, Mrs. Crawford?
Oh, I thought you'd be over.
I'm just asking your sales lady here if she has one that's cut a bit lower.
Oh, yes, well, how much lower did you have in mind?
I'll deal with it, Captain Wagstaff. Miss Nichols, would you get me a 38C platform cup, please? With heavy-duty straps. Will you take the hat, madam?
No, I think I'll try on some shoes instead.
Would you direct madam to the shoe department, please, Captain Wagstaff?
Certainly. Step this way, madam.
I'm sorry we couldn't find anything to go with your face, madam, but do try again. Awkward cow.
Hey, Mrs. Crawford! They've come out again.
What's come out?
Transport.
Oh, no.
Trains, buses, the lot. Look. Traffic chaos. Up the workers. Teach them up the top a lesson.
Well, I don't see how it's going to affect them. They've all got Rolls Royces. It's us that's going to suffer. Now, how are we going to get home?
Mr. Fenwick says there's to be a meeting in his office at 5:30 regarding the transport strike.
Just for us heads of department or staff as well.
Everyone?
Oh, does that include me?
No.
Isn't it marvellous? I'm not even everybody. I'm nobody.
Well, you've all seen the news. I'm afraid the situation is very grave. But I'm proud to be able to tell you that Bone Brothers are going to rise to the occasion.
Are we going to man the buses, sir? Mrs. Crawford would make a marvellous clippy. Plenty of room on top.
Don't encourage him, Miss Nichols.
This is not a laughing matter, Mr. Randall. Oh, we must try and keep a sense of humour. Of course, sir. Now, hands up those who've got cars.
Oh, what a pity. I let the chauffeur have mine.
I don't think any of us is fortunate enough to possess his own vehicle.
And mine's off the road being prepared for my overseas touring holiday.
Oh, going to Tassie again, are we?
Is anybody within walking distance?
Well, I could be home by the morning if I set off now.
Yes, well, it's as I thought. We are, in a sense, stranded here. But fortunately, Mr. Bone has kindly given his permission for the employees to spend the night in the store.
Oh, how nice. That's better than being huddled outside the staff entrance and coming in with a milk.
But where are we going to sleep?
On the floor.
I'm not sleeping on the floor.
I mean on the department floor. On whatever bedding or other devices we can improvise.
Well, can Miss Nichols and I bags the waterbed on the 4th floor?
As long as you sleep inside it.
Everyone's staying on their own floor. It's been agreed.
What are we going to do for privacy? We can't all kip down like Sodom and Gomorrah.
I think Mrs. Crawford has raised a very valid point. I think there should be some separation between the sexes.
And also within the sexes.
Perhaps the ladies could sleep in the fitting rooms.
Miss Nichols and I are not going to sleep in that pokey hole with no air.
Tell you what, you keep down with us and I'll get a couple of chastity belts from the novelty department.
The thing is, we're all going to have to improvise. Now, let's think very carefully. Camping.
Beg your pardon.
That's it, camping. Were you never in the Scouts, Mr. Humphreys?
Not officially.
Tents. That's it, we'll have tents.
Tents? Well, if we're going to have tents, I'd like one with a big lock.
Mrs. Crawford, I am sure I speak for all of the men here when I say that we will not, as you seem to suppose, behave like mad dogs as soon as the lights are out.
Hear, hear.
We're all in this together, and we're just going to have to make the best of it, that's all. Now, let me see. Who's the store's expert on camping? In jest, of course, sir.
I can see you were never in the army, Mr. Randall.
I don't see why I couldn't have gone up to the toy department and stayed in Peter Pan's house with Wendy and the crocodile.
Are you referring to Wendy from the record department?
Oh, you fancy her too, do you? Never mind, you can make a foursome with the crocodile.
Oh, dear.
I think we're on the wrong floor, sir.
Yes, sir. If you remember, the waterbed is on the 4th floor.
Yes. Carry on. You've all done very well.
Captain Wagstaff, are you free?
Yes, Mrs. Crawford.
Could I have your assistance for a moment? There are no curtains at my window.
Oh, I shouldn't worry, Mrs. Crawford. You'll be sleeping on the floor. Only a very tall person could see anything. Even then, he'd have to stand on tiptoe.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, well, apart from that, one usually finds that condensation steams up the windows.
I can assure you, Captain Wagstaff, that lying down there on my air mattress in an army blanket, I shall not be getting any steam up. And there's another thing. How am I supposed to zip my flap up from the inside?
Well, perhaps the best thing would be to have someone zip you up after you're in.
What if, for some reason or other, I wanted to leave in a hurry during the night?
Oh, well, if you think that sort of emergency might occur, it might be wiser to leave your zip open.
Oh, it's all very primitive.
Pyjamas, lovely right pyjamas. Yes, all pyjamas here. Direct from the reject department. There we are, Mrs. Crawford. Room for you and a friend.
Oh, what awful common things. Oh, still, I suppose they're better than nothing.
Anything's better than nothing.
Miss Nichols, our sleepwear has arrived.
What size are you?
Oh, no, thanks. I never wear anything in bed. I don't like rough things against my skin.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I'm all for the velvet touch myself.
Well, you will wear pyjamas tonight, Miss Nichols. I mean, supposing there was a fire and you'd got nothing on.
I'll be the first to be rescued.
Get them on.
Oh, I can't wear those. They're men's. They got a flap at the front.
Well, get a safety pin and wear them back to front. Mr. Humphreys, don't you want a pair of pyjamas?
No, thank you, Mrs. Crawford. I made some arrangements with a friend of mine in the gentleman's boutique.
Oh, look. Singapore girl.
Mr. Mankiewicz? Mr. Mankiewicz? Are you all right, Mr. Mankiewicz?
I'm trying to take off my trousers. It isn't easy, is it?
Nice pair of pyjamas for you.
I think it would be more dignified if I changed in the gentleman's cloakroom.
Things you see when you haven't got your gun.
Now, Mr. Mankiewicz, you've left your flap open. Of your tent.
There you are, Captain. There we are. Best quality passion killers.
Have you got something a bit different from stripes?
What do you want, pips?
Well, I think, having regard to my position, I should have something a little different from the rest.
We'll take the trousers off then.
Don't be witty, Mr. Humphreys.
Here we are.
Blue. Oh.
Mr. Randall?
It'd be easier to knock off one of Mrs. Crawford's brows and use it as a hammock.
Pyjamas.
What am I supposed to do with these?
Now, how did that get in there? That's from the window display.
How many one-legged men go window shopping?
No, it was for the his and hers. He was getting out of bed one side, she was getting out of bed the other. They made one pair of pyjamas do for the two.
I can't wear these in mixed company.
I tell you what, put both legs down there and hop into bed.
What's your game?
Dreadfully terribly sorry, Miss Nichols, but I thought this is where I was supposed to be sleeping.
Not on your Nelly, Captain Wagstaff.
You're supposed to be sleeping with Mrs. Crawford.
Oh, well, then you better ask her, and you'd better knock.
Well, by the way, Miss Nichols, your pyjamas should be worn the other way round.
You do your thing your way, and I'll do my thing my way.
Mrs. Crawford? Are you free, Mrs. Crawford?
Just a minute, Mr. Humphreys.
I could come back later. Or not at all.
Oh, it's all right. I've got the stopper in. I've just been blowing up my air mattress. It took puff after puff after puff.
Anything I can do to help?
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Humphreys. I've managed.
Captain Wagstaff would
Yeah,
like
well,
to
I'll
know...
deal with this, Mr. Humphreys. Mrs. Crawford, what is Miss Nichols doing in that tent?
Well, knowing you, I'm surprised you haven't looked.
He has. And I was putting on my pyjamas, just doing up my safety pin.
Oh, Captain Wagstaff.
No, the point is, Mrs. Crawford, that this large tent is for yourself and Miss Nichols.
There will be no one in my boudoir when I put out the candle.
I've no other accommodation, Mrs. Crawford. Where am I supposed to sleep?
I have a two-man tent.
Good lad, keep it going. All around
What
the
on
corner.
earth is that, Mr. Cocker?
This is a bed, Captain Wagstaff. Mr. Fenwick ordered it.
Oh, very considerate of him.
Not there, Mr. Cocker.
Oh, well, it wouldn't go through your office door, you see.
I can't sleep out here with the staff.
What? You can't sleep out here with the staff?
Of course I can sleep out here with the staff. Now, how does this thing work?
Oh, well, it's supposed to be screwed up against the bedroom wall, you see, and, when the girl's father comes knocking on the door, she goes up the wall instead of him.
Yes, very interesting, isn't it, sir?
That's most ingenious.
Yes, rather roomy.
Well, it is sold as a small double.
May solve a small problem we have.
What problem?
Miss Nichols refuses to leave my tent.
You tried persuading her?
No, yes, she was quite adamant.
You did quite right to tell me, of course. What you do after hours in normal circumstances is entirely your own affair. You can't go through with this under our very noses, so to speak.
I think you may have, sir, what might be termed the wrong end of the stick.
Have I?
Yes, sir. The point is, the larger tent was for Mrs. Crawford because I was quite sure that she'd be willing to share, but to my surprise, she wouldn't hear of it.
Do you think she suspects about you and Miss Nichols?
You don't follow me, sir. I was trying to get Mrs. Crawford and Miss Nichols together in the same tent.
All three of you?
No, you misunderstand me, sir. I don't want to share with any of the ladies.
Ah, good.
I want to share with you.
They dream of home.
There's a silver lining through the dark clouds shining. Turn the dark clouds inside out.
Tell the boys.
Wonderful, Captain Wagstaff. Mr. Fenwick.
Yes, it takes me back to the army and the lads, the heat, the sunset, the endless shifting sands.
How long were you stationed at Bondi, Captain Wagstaff?
Mr. Randall, when you were still at school, I was with some of the toughest soldiers in the world, chasing Rommel through the desert.
Some people have all the luck.
Although I was only a slip of a girl at the time, I was in England during the air raids. As a matter of fact, that's where I met my husband, during a raid, with the bombs coming down. Oh, I shall never forget seeing his face lit up by an incendiary. And then he threw me on my face and said, "Look out, here comes a big one."
I suppose there wasn't much time for chatting in those days.
And after it had gone off and we were heading for the shelters, I knew at that moment it was love at first sight.
Yeah, the first bomb site you came to.
Oh, your mind.
I was in Ensa, entertaining the troops.
What does ENSA stand for?
Every night, something awful.
I used to do impersonations. Goring, Hitler, Goebbels, von Ribbentrop, Lord Haw-Haw.
Whose side were you on?
Oh, I did Churchill as well.
Well, I think you were very, very brave, Mr. Makovitz.
With an act like that, he had to be.
I wasn't even around when all that was going on.
Where were you then?
I wasn't born. But it was the war that got my mum and dad together. We still got pictures of him with his black face running along the beach.
What was it, the first of the illegal immigrant?
He was a commando.
Oh, absolutely ruthless.
Well, he met my mum when he broke into a bicycle shed during a training session. "What are you doing?" she said. "Looking for the Jerry," he said. So she took him in and showed him upstairs. And they just clicked.
Isn't that romantic? Of course, I missed all that, but if it happened again, despite my pierced eardrums and flat feet, I would be there at the head of the queue.
Dressed as a lady with a ticket for Sweden, no doubt.
Well, I think it's time for lights out. It's been a most enjoyable evening, just like the old Boy Scout jamboree.
And it's only 10:30.
Shall I switch the campfire off, sir?
Yes, better not take any risks.
Hang on a minute, Churchill's having a cat nap. Doesn't he look sweet? Someone ought to wake him up.
Mr. Humphreys.
Are you free, Mr. Mankerville?
Yes, I'm free.
Good night, Mr. Mankerville. Here, Shirley, what about a quick game of ping-pong up in the sports department?
No, thank you.
What about sardines in soft furnishings?
Oh, why don't you get inside your tent and zip yourself up?
Well, after you, Mr. Fenwick.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm going to keep my socks on, if you don't mind.
No, not at all, sir. That's enough, Mr. Randall.
Good night, Mrs. Crawford.
You're not standing on tiptoe, are you?
Definitely not, Mrs. Crawford.
Oh, drat it. There goes Miss Stopper.
Fire! Let's stamp that down. Just think, these were the teeth that did Churchill.
We shall fight them on the beaches. We shall fight them in the streets.
I wouldn't bother.
The sooner I get into bed. Should never have had that cocoa.
You're not going to read, are you, Captain Wagstaff?
No, sir.
Get rid of that thing, will you? What thing? That light.
Oh, I'll try. There's nothing on my side.
Oh, damn, it must be on mine. Oh, Mr. Humphreys, you're not in bed yet.
I was just on my way there, sir.
Put that light out, would you?
Certainly.
Not that lever, Mr. Humphreys!
Are you being sir, sir. I'm Humphreys, and I'm free. Are you being served, sir? What would you like to see? If you'd like some swimming trunks, we've got them plain and sloppy. We've also got some see-through that really tan your beachwear. Oh, these are gay. There's plenty around the back. And if you'd like a bit of flash, then try a plastic mag.